Okay, welcome into a special edition podcast form of the Paul Farrington Show. The other show ran a little bit long from Thursday, so we wanted to squeeze in this DeAndre Hopkins conversation, but we decided...
That's exciting news.
It is exciting news. One of the best receivers in football is on the market. That doesn't happen very often. We'll see going forward in the long run, how many years does he have left? But for this season in particular, DeAndre Hopkins can probably still impact the team in a very big way. So what we're going to do is we're just going to share a couple teams that we're interested in, that we think DeAndre might want to go to, should he go there. We'll start with Jack. Who do you think should be interested in DeAndre Hopkins right now?
Is this one team or a little two or three, a little handful?
If you got two, you can give me two.
All right, so I actually got three. I got Dallas.
Okay.
I got Dallas, the Bills, and the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with the Lions. A team who was missing James Williams the first 6 weeks this season.
Yep.
Who will be missing the first 6 weeks? You have St. Brown. You have Marvin Jones. Now, if you add DeAndre Hopkins to a quarterback or an offense led by Jared Goff, who we said last episode, and I agree with, at any point, Jared Goff's a guy who he can tank. He can stink.
He can.
If you give him D-Hop, and now he has that good trio of D-Hop, Marvin Jones, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, little bit less pressure, too, off a second-year kid in James Williams when he gets back.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be a good fit for an offense that's supposed to be good in Detroit.
And you left out the two rookies as well. Sam Laporta, the Iowa tight end, who apparently is lighting up rookie camp. Ziggy gave a little reaction there. And Jahmyr Gibbs, the Bama running back, who's generated a lot of conversation.
I think Hopkins would fit well. Buffalo, looking to get over the hump. If you compare D-Hop alongside Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox, that sounds like a pretty good quartet of weapons.
I like Buffalo, and here's what I'll just say on them, because they are someone that a lot of people are looking at and saying that's a great spot where Hopkins fits in well. We know he wants to be there. We know the players want him. I don't think it happens, though, because of the finances. We'll see where...
That's reasonable.
We'll see where Hopkins comes down, because he has to lower his asking price. People just aren't going to pay him what he wants. And we know for sure that Buffalo will not. So even if someone does crack, I don't think it's Buffalo. And I think they're going to be stingy in this case.
And then that's reasonable. My top landing spot for him is Dallas. Because Dallas now for a couple of years, a team that has choked in the playoffs, a team that hasn't done anything, but a team who's made it there, has really lacked a consistent, solid number 2 wide receiver for Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you can throw D-Hop alongside CeeDee Lamb, Gallup's more of a 3, I think that's perfect and kind of what you need right now for the Dallas Cowboys.
You get like a 1B too, because Hopkins.
Right, yeah, I say a 2,
yeah.
but
but you're getting the value of a 1.
And I think that would really help out Dak Prescott, especially in the playoffs, to have a guy like D-Hop.
Okay,
so I'm going to say Buffalo, Lions, and Dallas on top.
Dallas, I believe, according to Bet Online, I'm not sure wherever they are. I just saw some odds for it. They are the betting favorite on some books to land Hopkins at the moment.
I'd say that's my top landing spot.
It's a good place. Ziggy, would you like to go, or you know what? I'll throw my dark horse in right now.
Oh, throw it in.
And I guess they're not really a dark horse anymore. The Cleveland Browns, again, a lot of talk about them and DeAndre Hopkins, especially because recently the Deshaun Watson, I believe, was at a charity golf event, and they were asking him about it. He's saying, of course, we'd love to take DeAndre Hopkins in. But
his best college teammate.
Yeah, college teammate, and also in Houston together. They over 300 receptions in 3 years for Hopkins, playing alongside Watson. The playoff appearances. They should have beat the Chiefs when they were up 24-0 in the divisional round.
Yeah.
I look at this Cleveland team, and I like Amari Cooper. I'm an Amari Cooper fan. I don't know if he's very good and underrated, but that team still lacks weapons to me. Donovan Peoples-Jones he's okay. They went and got Elijah Moore. Like, you can tell what the Browns thought of their receiver room from the offseason so far. They traded for Elijah Moore. They used the 3rd-round pick they got back in the Moore trade to take Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. So they're already addressing this, and they see it as a need. If you go and get DeAndre Hopkins, all of a sudden now, Amari and DeAndre, very good duo. They're getting older, too, so, it could be good for them to spell each other once in a while, but a very good duo there.
Yeah, and pairing back
Nick
with Watson.
Chubb, Njoku, Watson. And that'll aid Deshaun Watson a lot. You just throw that ball up anywhere. And while Hopkins might not be as quick as he used to be. He was never really like a guy who's getting separation. He's just got great hands. I think this is a great fit if they're able to make the finances work. And you know, it's they would make them a dangerous offense.
Then there'd be so much hype. They'd be 8-9.
yeah, there it is. Ziggy, what do you think? Do you like Cleveland or any of the teams we mentioned so far?
I like those teams, but the biggest question in my mind is why he hasn't already signed somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's been a couple of days. He's had time to negotiate, and you would have thought there'd be a bidding war for his services. Instead, it seems like the opposite, right? Teams keep pushing out to the media reasons why they're not in on DeAndre Hopkins, right? The Chiefs, people thought they were in. They sent out some stuff about spending too much money, which is probably true. Mm-hmm. People thought the Ravens were in. Suddenly, they don't have the cap space, even though they do. Deshaun Watson begs for it, doesn't immediately happen. I worry. I think DeAndre Hopkins is good enough to get signed to a team, but I wonder what his contract expectations are. It seems worryingly similar to the Dez Bryant situation, right? Dez Bryant coming off a pretty good year. Cowboys cut him. He wants a big long-term deal. No one gives it to him, and his career is basically over. Now, I don't think that'll happen to Hopkins.
The injury too. We have to,
he got injured after being signed 9 weeks into the season. Yeah. People are assuming Hopkins is going to go somewhere quick. He says he doesn't want to raise, but if he wants like a 3-year, $25 million deal, which wouldn't be a raise, right? That $75 million guarantee would be basically what he was getting with the Cardinals plus an extra year.
No one will give him that. Yeah.
It could be a while. I mean, the Ravens tied up a lot of money in Odell. I think they were a really natural landing point. The Chiefs don't like spending money. And honestly, do they even need him?
No, it seems the Chiefs are of the opinion that they can trot out anyone, and as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, and give them Travis Kelce, they could do whatever they want. And
it won him a Super Bowl last year with nobody.
I think Buffalo needs him much, much more than a team like Kansas City.
But imagine him on a team imagine him with Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It would be a big addition. Do they need him? No. But he would be damn good there.
Him on Buffalo, though, takes him over the hump. Because last year, or the last couple years in the playoffs, last year specifically, you get killed by Cincinnati. Diggs doesn't do much.
Mm-hmm. Offense stalled.
Yeah, offense stalled. And to compete with these teams in the AFC.
And the defense in Buffalo also took some steps back, just to acknowledge that.
It did.
But they also didn't.
I think Buffalo's
wanted from Gabe Davis.
Buffalo's the most natural landing spot, right? It's where, their window's closing quickly. I think is how they see it. Josh Allen's going to start needing to make a lot of money. The defense is going to regress. So I think this is their year. I think they go out and get Hopkins. The Ravens, if Lamar really wants him, they might do it to make him happy. But I think people are over-exaggerating what kind of market there is. Because there was the market people thought there was going to be, right? People were wondering why the Cardinals couldn't get like a second-round pick for him. This is why. There is not the market people think there is. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins' profile is better as a wide receiver too at this point in his career.
You got to remember,
and he can't stay on the field.
He's missed 15 games over the past 2 seasons. Six of them were because of the PED issue, which
So his fault, even worse.
But he was owed, what was it, $19.45 million this year, something like that. I know the Cardinals ate a pretty big chunk of change to
they cut him. 29 in dead cap.
Yeah, and that's just because no one would trade for it. So the 19 million, 20, whatever it is that he is expecting for this year, it's gonna have to be low. Odell got 15. Can you see 15 being the number, or do you think it's even lower at 10?
I mean, Odell was only signed because the Ravens wanted to get that Lamar contract signed up as quickly as possible. Everyone thought that was an overpay, probably the Ravens included.
Hopkins than Odell right now.
Oh, no question. But the fact is the Odell contract, I think, is like the Deshaun Watson contract for quarterbacks. It's just not a fair comparison. No one's getting a deal quite like that.
So you think maybe
I don't know,
10 to 12?
If if Hopkins wants to go to a contender, right, sign on a team where he can really do some work. Yeah, I think 10 to 12. If he wants to go to a bad team like the Texans, then he can make more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so he'll have to choose. Does he want winning or does he want money?
Hopkins also, as a number 2 right now, alongside a guy like Diggs or CeeDee Lamb, would be
filthy.
Or Kelce.
Or Kelce. Yeah. As a 1, like I said, he'd probably be the one with the Lions, you would think, if he goes to the Lions. I'd be a little more iffy. But a team like Buffalo or Dallas alongside another stud would be absolutely filthy.
When we're talking, too, about the value of DeAndre Hopkins, these are just a couple interesting quotes that came from an Albert Breer article on Sports Illustrated. He just talked to some anonymous executives around the league. One of them said, quote, he can't run anymore. And another one said, just a little bit longer, he said, still great hands. He's not going to separate, not much of a deep threat, but very strong and makes contested catches as well as anyone in the league. Does not love to practice. I can't imagine that'll get any better. And when things don't go well, you're always going to be leery. All right, what kind of drama are we going to get from this guy? When things are great, he's great. But when things go south, his true colors show a little bit. So there are also some character concerns here with Hopkins. There's some, can he separate? Even though, again, we said that's not a huge part of his game, but important for the position of receiver. So it's not like he's just going to come in. He's going to be 31. So he's not 26 years old anymore. Two more teams before we wrap this up here that I just wanted to throw out to you guys. The Patriots, I know that people are going crazy because he posted a video about the Patriots beating the Falcons in the Super Bowl this weekend.
I was eyeing them too.
And the Jets. Either of those teams strike a nerve for you in terms of places you could see him actually winding up?
The Jets.
0%. Yeah, 0% chance of the Jets.
0% chance.
I mean, everyone's talking about, right, like how Garrett Wilson's going to be the guy. And who else do the Jets have right now? I mean, if you have Garrett Wilson and DeAndre Hopkins with Aaron Rodgers and their defense, that's a Super Bowl favorite.
Can they afford that? Can the Jets afford
with simple restructures? They can afford to
they can get it
easily.
Done.
Like, why not just double Garrett Wilson? Right? Like right now, like who else?
Can you see that blowing like that? Rodgers, Hopkins, and Wilson just has like. Can you imagine when that could blow up in a great way or a horrible way? And I think
because Aaron Rodgers wants to play with Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb. He doesn't want to play with DeAndre Hopkins.
But when you say 0%, like you're saying it because you think the Jets are not interested, or because
I think the Jets are not interested. Okay. I think when Robert Saleh comes out and says we're very happy with who we have.
Yep.
I don't think they're even calling.
The Jets probably are not interested, but I'd love to see that.
And then the Patriots, I would say New England would be interested. We know Belichick likes him, but I doubt DeAndre Hopkins actually wants to go there. He doesn't want to play with Mac.
He doesn't play with Mac, and he'd be the worst team in his division.
Yeah, he listed the quarterbacks he wanted. He said, and not surprisingly, he said Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Herbert, and Lamar. Yeah, Lamar was the other one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
look, I think Watson could be an exception to that, given their relationship, but he wants to go to someone who's really in contention to win a Super Bowl. In New England, they're just not there.
He'd go to the Pats and lose the division. He doesn't want that.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's a lot of teams are in play for Hopkins right now. Let's just make our prediction. I think he ends up in Cleveland. I think he's going to go there.
I'm so torn on Buffalo or Dallas. I'm going to say Buffalo.
Okay.
No. I'm going to say Dallas. I'm going to say Dallas.
Right.
Dallas.
I think it's easily Buffalo.
Easily Buffalo. Buffalo would be my number 2.
Buffalo's my number 2 also.
Zach, perhaps the executive producer would like to give an opinion. Perhaps he shows himself on camera.
Steelers? Dolphins?
No, I already put in the group chat about
Vikings?
D-Hop wide receiver 3 on the Dolphins. Filthy.
that would be
horrible. That would be insane.
Yeah.
It's as long as Tua can walk. I
like the Giants.
No, Tua doesn't have to walk.
Giants.
Put him in a wheelchair and have him throw. That offense is winning the Super Bowl.
You hear that, Ziggy? You hear who we went with?
Because I like the Giants.
I like the Giants.
Oh?
I don't think it happens, but they could use him.
Yeah,
they could certainly use him.
Makes sense.
They need some veteran wide receiver.
They can move some things around. I mean, they could get it done, but I think
they want to win.
I think they came out and said that, like, of course they're always interested in a big name that becomes available. I'm feeling no for New York, but that would be a good fit. The Giants need help there.
Yeah, it certainly would be.
All right, there you go. So DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of landing places. A lot of places we think he might go, different predictions. So we'll just have to see. Time will tell. And as Ziggy mentioned, it could be a while. So we have no idea how long this could take. But it's always fun to predict a few things. So please drop in the comment section if you're confident in Hopkins going somewhere or just want to throw out another name that we missed. Please feel free. Remember to please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. We'll see you next week on The Paul Farrington Show.